Welcome to today's Explainer. You know, we're taking a little trip down memory lane today, but we're definitely putting on our detective hats to do it. Think about it. We all grew up watching these classic cartoons, right? We just completely accepted their wacky worlds, the brightly colored characters, and those totally absurd situations as, well, just normal. But have you ever actually stopped to think about the hidden logic driving these animated universes? Because it turns out there's a surprisingly deep amount of real-world logic buried literally right in plain sight. We're going to look at the secret reasons behind some iconic character traits that we all just kind of took for granted. Okay, let's dive into this.
I want you to think back to your absolute favorite shows growing up. Did you ever notice those small kind of weird details that didn't quite make sense at the time? Characters repeating the exact same strange behaviors or living in, very specific, unusual ways? Well, it turns out, behind all the silly jokes and the chaotic adventures, these animated universes are often governed by some very strict, real-world constraints. The creators weren't just being random here. They were actually building worlds with undeniable logic. And today, we're exposing two of the biggest mysteries from legendary shows that are going to completely change how you view these characters.
Section 1. Doraemon's Weird Sleeping Spot.
If you watch the show, you know that ever since Sawashi dropped him off from the future to live with Nobita, Doraemon has slept inside a sliding closet, literally a cupboard. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark contrast between him and his sister, Doremi. As we know from the lore of the show, robots from the future are designed with the strict expectation of having their own personal space. They need their own private rooms to recharge and relax. And Doremi? She has exactly that, a nice standard private room of her very own. But Doraemon is just confined to this tiny dark cupboard. I mean, why couldn't he just sleep on a normal bed next to Nobita, or have his own dedicated room?
Well, it all comes down to basic, everyday economics. Step 1 establishes our baseline. Future robots are programmed to need and actually expect private rooms. But then, Step 2 introduces the big conflict. Just look at Nobita's family. His parents simply lack the money to afford a bigger house or to build an entirely new extra room just for a robotic cat. They're under strict real-world financial constraints. So Doraemon's dream of having a proper, futuristic room remains just that, an unfulfilled dream, which leads us perfectly to Step 3, adaptation. Without the funds for a house addition, Doraemon is forced to adapt his living space. He essentially converts that sliding cupboard into his own makeshift private room. It's this brilliant, highly relatable, and honestly slightly sad detail that grounds a wild sci-fi show right in middle-class financial reality.
Section 2. Ninja Hattori's Secret Look. Let's move to and see how this builds.
So Ninja Hattori is an absolute icon, right? Instantly recognizable by his traditional blue ninja outfit and those big, swirling red cheeks. But there is a glaring omission in his character design that you might have just accepted for years without even questioning why it was done. Get this, his hair is never shown in any episode. Think about the sheer volume of episodes produced for that show. I mean, hundreds. We see his standard body parts, we see his face, his hands, his feet, but his hair, it remains completely, entirely hidden underneath his ninja hood for the absolute entirety of the show's run. There's no way you'd catch even a glimpse. Not a single episode, not a single fleeting scene ever gives fans a peek at what's going on under there. It's a total visual blackout on his hairstyle.
Now you might think this was just a lazy choice by the animators to save time drawing hair, but no, it's a strict, unyielding code of honor. We need to look at the definition of a true ninja within the logic of this specific universe. A true ninja is defined as someone who strictly adheres to the rule of never revealing their secrets. So the crucial point is, this philosophy doesn't just apply to combat techniques, hidden weapons, or stealth missions. It extends to his very physical appearance. His hidden hair is literally a physical manifestation of his absolute discipline to the ninja code. It's pretty wild when you think about it.
In fact, the show actually addresses this directly. When pressed by his closest friends about his hair, Hattori delivers this ultimate, incredibly serious justification. He says, "A true ninja never tells his secrets to anyone, whether it's a best friend or anyone else." He literally treats his hairstyle with documentary-level weight. To him, showing his hair is exactly equivalent to betraying his ancient ninja clan and breaking his sacred vows. It's hilarious because, come on, we're talking about a cartoon character's haircut here, but it's brilliant because the creators committed 100% to the internal logic of the character. Even his best, most trusted friends aren't allowed to see his hair because, well, a rule is a rule.
Section 3. Mysteries that build worlds.
So what does this all mean? Well, what starts out as seemingly minor, random trivia points, a robot cat sleeping in a closet, or a ninja who refuses to take off his hood, actually demonstrate incredibly thoughtful world building.
These creators used real-world financial limitations and super strict codes of honor to make these animated worlds feel grounded, consistent, and surprisingly deep. Which leaves us with one final intriguing question to chew on. How many other real-world rules are hidden in plain sight in your favorite childhood cartoons? I guarantee once you start looking at these shows through this analytical lens, you're never going to watch them the same way again. The next time you feel nostalgic and put on a classic episode, look past the visual gags and the wacky adventures. Try looking for the hidden logic. Pay attention to where characters sleep, what they wear, and the strict codes they follow. You might just uncover a whole new layer of genius behind the cartoons that raised us. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring those childhood mysteries.